Howdy, Banger pals. Blayne Smith joining you for another Overkill Reviews. And I mean another. You've been seeing a lot of me lately. Everybody else at Banger has been busy, but I'm still just here in my basement making metal content for you. Both here and at twitch.tv/metal comedy. I stream every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so come on out if you want to find even more metal than I'm already giving ya. Well, speaking of metal, let's get on to the metal. Here you go. Today I'll be covering Kommand's album Death Age. It comes out this Friday, March 31st on $20 spin. Formed in 2015 in LA by some boys more in the hardcore scene than the metal scene. They'd release a pair of demos before they got snatched up by Maggot Stomp for a re-release of said demos in 2019 and a full album release in 2020 before being snatched up again by $20 spin for this release. So let's get to the review before, I don't know, Century Media signs them and I've got to update the bio. Do you like Bolt Thrower? If you answered yes to that question, I've got some good news for you. And if you answered no, I've got some bad news for you. This is a bootleg Bolt Thrower record. So that's going to bring with it all the things that a Bolt Thrower record normally brings with it. That's going to mean it's a more mid-tempoed affair from start to finish. That's sort of, if they slowed down 10 BPM more, technically it would probably cross over into Death Doom territory, but they're not quite there, and they never dip below that mark. It's also going to mean it's definitely a quality over quantity type of jam, with them more interested in bringing you very appeasing sounding riffs that they've spent a long time on rather than dazzling you with technical wizardry. I believe both has its place, but I prefer this type of thing anyway, so it's definitely not a detractor to me. And I say it's a bootleg Bolt Thrower record, but it's not a bootleg they bought on Canal Street. It is a very high-quality bootleg because, obviously, this is a plus column, not a negative. So, yes, they've copied Bolt Thrower, but if this was the Bolt Thrower you had at home, you'd be kind of a whiny little brat for complaining to your mom about wanting more Bolt Thrower. Band might be made up of 5 dudes, but there's a 6th man putting in some work in the mixing and mastering by a young fella quickly approaching legend status, Arthur Risk, who, besides being known for his own bands, has had his fingers on all kinds of important modern metal records ranging from Power Trip to Tomb Mold. With their 2020 debut, Terrorscape, there was a bit of muddiness to the production, as well as I found a thinness to Jesse's vocals, and there isn't a trace of that on this record. I'd go as far as to say this is a perfectly captured record. Jesse's vocals now feel like they're echoing around a cavern, and the muddiness on the instrument has been wiped off and instead replaced with a coating of character-giving goo. So what that means is it doesn't sound super clean and well-produced, but you can hear everything. There's a clarity as well as a character. Like, take this solo from Chimera Soldiers, where you can hear everything that's happening, but the solo is coming from the middle of the track more than on the top of the track where a guitar solo normally sits. It adds a nice little bit of, hey, this is something unique. All the guitar solos kind of have a different twist to them, I find, and it goes a long way to making a record stand out. If you do, you might miss the entire record with its 26-minute, 13-second runtime. Some might argue it's a little closer to an EP than a full-length release, especially if you're, I don't know, browsing the $20 Spin Bandcamp page. And let's say you click on this record, and I don't know, let's just pick a random other record like, I don't know, Worms 2022 Blue Nothing EP, which clocks in at 26 minutes, 35 seconds in its runtime, but is classified as an EP, so it's $1 cheaper for the digital download. I don't know, that might ruffle someone's feathers a little bit. I will say every second of this record is actual music, and I appreciate the honesty of, if you're going to turn in an 800-word essay when you've been assigned an 1,000-word essay, you just turn in an 800-word essay, because 200 words of wind blowing and sparing synths ain't going to change that you only have 800 words worth of ideas. Other bands... I'd also say just write another fucking song, though, so we can get this thing up to 30 minutes and I don't have to have this conversation with you. That'd be nice, too. Never been a big death metal sing-along type of guy. I enjoy it with heavy and thrash metal, but with death metal, I go to a concert, I'm more interested in breaking my neck than being the backup vocalist, but... there are some gosh darn fun lyrics to belt out with the boys here. There's a great cadence and perfect level of repetition to the choruses that really get you in the mix. It's fun. A track like Fleeing Western Territories, it gets me in the mood every time it plays, and I'd play it right now for you, but I can't because the record comes out on Friday and they haven't released that song yet. If you want to get an idea, the track I played the solo from, Chimera Soldiers, also has a great chorus that you can sing along with, so... I don't know, I guess, yeah, you want to karaoke a death metal song? This is Kommand. A great choice. Look, there's some curmudgeons out there that act like bolt thrower worship projects are a dime a dozen, but as a guy that has to listen to every single death metal release that comes out every single month, I'm here to tell you for a fact that it is a more niche sound. As a result, despite this sounding a lot like a bolt thrower record, a lot, it means it does have a more niche sound to it, and I appreciate that because projects like this aren't as common, so it's nice to have another one. I can only rate it so highly because at the end of the day, it is a 26-minute bolt thrower tribute, but if I was at a party and I heard some guy across the room say the words 26-minute bolt thrower tribute, I'd be like, ooh, let me get over there and find out what record he's talking about. So if 26-minute bolt thrower tribute makes your ears perk up, buy the record. If it doesn't, don't buy the record. So on to my rating, and the last time I'm going to say bolt thrower for a couple of weeks, I'm giving it 3.5 out of 5 bolt thrower spearhead skulls. So that's the review, but of course there is shout-outs as well, and as I mentioned, I do listen to every single death metal record that comes out, so I do have a couple of more death metal records for you in Angerot's The Profound Recreant on Redefining Darkness record. So this is a bit more of an extreme sound if you thought this record was a little too soft. Maze of Sothoth, I don't know, Extirpated Light, it's a bunch of hard words to say, on Everlasting Spew records. If you thought this record wasn't technical enough for you, there's a lot of technicality going on there. And if you thought this record wasn't a black metal record, Aara is releasing Triade III Nix on Deborah Morty Productions. I know it's not a death metal record, but this is one of my favorite active black metal projects. So if you want some of the best atmospheric black metal around right now, Aara, buy that record. And if you want to let me know what you thought about what just happened, leave a comment down below. Let us know. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. We appreciate it, and thanks for coming out.